Caught you climbing through the cotton candy clouds into porcelain. We felt more within. I clawed through creamy fields of milky sand streams. We sang in paragraphs. We held more from them. A clown away.
That spring makes red and white flowers appear in those trees. But the spring that is the origin of colors is colorless. And understand what I've said for the giving up all talk for the ruin. Original with the color, unite yourself to it. And I hear it for the evidence for the thousands of the world's leap out of it. Pure existence, flame to of itself. If it goes on beyond the birth and get different forms. And of course, none of these forms will laugh. But this is the known to the mystery. Happy is for those who get the life that knows who this is. For they living in a house with another far more radiant. You cannot understand the mystery.
Jaunting jealous jabs against the least of the skies. We fall willingly. Caught you climbing through the cotton candy clouds into porcelain. We felt more within. I clawed through creamy fields of milky sand streams. We sang in paragraphs. We held more from them. A clown away, calling fish around one swallowed head. We live in breezes, take you with me. I pull purple patterns from the point of standing still. We build perimeters made of emperors. Jaunting jealous jabs against the least of the skies. We fall willingly.
All the hope to be for mine alone. Where I am, for not the whither I should go. For the amnesia, for the myself and beast before I sell it. All for the breaking up of it again I build. All for the hope to be mine, but the mind alone. For the heart, for the eclipse in the dark, with the wild destruction of the night. Bird for the light, for the bird, for the glowing, for the flowing of the flames. So do not enter my heart once again. You are calling me to climb up and fly into that blue. For the how can I? My heart is the prison with the stranglement of the bird. For the tiny room, for the bird light. Supreme, I pray. I gloom. This is the arising of the awake. This is the offering of my dream through the breath of my life in the light. Heart for the mind, the consciousness of transcending the universe and the life beyond. Formula the meditation, the transcendental for the divinity and humanity and liberator for the Shiva. Ignorance, the sleep, that find this away, ever the same again for the truth. Reach, discover for the same again. Forgotten for the self-remembered. Same again for the goal regained. Same again. This is the last word. This is the last word. You were here for the hope this still exists on the earth, for the dancing in your heart always. In the night, sorrow with the days of joys. Filled with the torture of the happiness is more painful than the torture of the sorrow. For when I am the joy and I forget you, I hurt your heart. Never the same. This is the life for the only supreme. Supreme for the prayer, for the beloved, for the within the heart where you can find the eternally shall be. Destruction, dance, destroy, shackles of the finite. Made a life for the supreme. You undate me for the heart, my will. Have love, the infinite for the heart, for the bloom is crying for the bloom and life for the infinite. Give me eternal hunger and aspirations to cry. Tiniest drop for the loose, the reason for it. You can heart my balance. That's the ocean with the fire, the air, the life, and the spirit. I behold beauty, go like spring. This will be the revealing of the soul fulfilled. Revelations will finally sweet. No memory, heart, but shall the sob the grief, the bright days and nights, the song for the God's life. Above that toil for the life of my soul, for the birth, for the fire, for the winging of the infinite. No one, secret play, pass beyond the sea for the ignorance and dream in tune with him. Sport for the singing, the only golden eyes, supreme for the drunk over mortality with the root and the barrels of steaming the fast. My form, my known, my realization for the supreme denial one. We are outlast, at last. My life, my age, my name, my life began for the duties of the pride, for the beauties of the light, reality, soul, and divinity to height. My words, my Father, my supreme, two are one for the one by each other one. Nothing remains undone. This is for the revealing and the fulfilling of the goal. No more heart, no more sound. Breathe. This is the only singing because you see depths in my heart, but I'm yours in identification. Conscious man pervading. I shall listen. I night through the tears and I cry.
The breeze drifts through the night.
It was the imagination, the life's adoration. For the imagination is false, for the blinding eyes and shit. I cry for not welcome to life and the purity, ugliness with the pride for victory. No smile for the rejoicing, imagination for the death of the calling could not respond. That soul and I am for the death that I have no more, never. I should never walk a wrong path. Imagination, message of surrender. Imagination today, you have given me the message for the surrendering I offer to you. You, my very flower heart for the dark nights with the tears for the unknown, the prison cell of illusion for the house of the finite. This is the longer shall I abide, for you are mine, for I have known this. You are that world. My vital song of heartless city, my mind for the forest of night. This is the youth of the world, the river of the tears. I came, the absolute realm for the bliss of the bear, for the ultimate to both are nowhere to known for the immense and natural last offensive one alone for the crossing of the secret ways of becoming the goal for the truth immutable for the revealing. God so, spirit aware for the heights, for the I am muted, for the core and the sun, for the better for nothing, the time and decent, the cosmic play is done.
Fog lifts up the morning. The breeze drifts through the night.
That spring makes red and white flowers appear in those trees. But the spring that is the origin, the colors is colorless. And understand what I've said for the giving and put all talk for the ruin. The original with the color, unite yourself to it. And I alienate for the evidence, this is for the dark of the world, sleep out of it. Pure existence, a flame to of itself. As it goes on beyond the birth of the different forms in the course. None of these forms will laugh, but this is the knowns of the mystery. Happy is to those who get the life of the knows who this is, for they leaving in the house for another far more radiant. You cannot understand the mystery, though the reason, the way to knowledge with the winds and those of suffering and torment. But I do not feel the pain. You do not look for the healing. That soul does not live for the God, for it is not alive. She seems like the soul, but does not deserving of the name. She has not been made alive for the beloved. That soul is the given of life for the four elements, like a lamp that burns through the night. That light is from the oil and the wicked, and it's not eternal. While the oil exists, for the lamp burns, then goes out. That one made alive by God will never die. He lives through the God and through the gold of the bread. For the gold is light, for the eternal source of lights, and the light is causes for the his the fury. Radiance and the light gold. God, value from the pure, perfect essence, and we
fill our minds.
Exist inside of the land for the more radiant. For you cannot understand the mystery, for though the reason for the way the knowledge and the wind suffering and the torment. Learn that meaning of the secret. The who is perfect in the path of the faith and never be deceived, for the always had a life for this, the brilliance and the remain siding of the stone wood for the straw. Mountain he went to sometimes in nothing, but the God would not receive the good in all things. He saw the face of the God for the timelessly. The world is never far from him. It can perfume the stray for the rose garden. Who is deprived for the sense of smell, for cannot distinguish the fragrance. Just as the stream for the better is in consciousness, the water for the flowing through it. It revealing for the more for the least and things in two worlds and could be who disappear. It could be his enemy for the one light for the fire inside that soul and body. Find that inspiration for the man's regards to some deeds as well as done. For the evil for those who cannot regard themselves, for the everything which exists inside the nature is God. That for everything in which it has a property. I am that. She is too.
The robot
I remain strong, came back, and in 24 hours like it was coming from a tomb. This is the rise and the ascending, for this is not the assholes or the seers. This is for the understanding of the doing and the contemporary, for this to find and listen. Listen to the now, for this is the reaching out, for you cannot catch it, it's invisible, inaudible, for the intangible, elusive. The one, the army, they got the sheep, for the meaning, for the infinite, looking to according to the unique medium, for the offering of the glimpse of the higher world, consciousness beyond the order for the mundane. This is the prolific for the equality, prolific for the composing of the spiritual, composing almost existence art for the further goal, for the offering of the you can be peaceful and meditative, for the round the world, for you can feel the universal language of what you share. This is the relating of the fact, spreading for the message, and you can find the internal friendship through the harmony. This is the poetry, this is the flowers to flame. This is the nothing but the eternity, and this is the barren events, rich and potentialness in the early life of the obscurity for the real name. Hold it down into themselves, and I exist for the rock and no soul. I embrace momentum with the worthy, with the caliber for the habit, and all alone for the between the failure, for the frustration, I am red as bread. Between nothingness and eternity, I am God in the world, on the body for the home, for the river, let the tears in the vital, for you the strong, for the heartless of the city in my mind. Forest with the in bone, that night for the human heart. You are the love of the word, love. I sing, I smile. I sing because you sing, I smile because you do. Because you play with the flute, for that I have become the flute. You play with the dust of the heart, when you are mine, I am yours. So this is the soul identification in one form for the you, the mother of the father, the eternal, the conscious moon, and the conscious sun, and all prevailing. It's fair. Don't cease to swim in that seas of love, for the rise and the wave, descending for the sustains and sink beneath it. Love bears me the way, for no longer for the any shore. I am the one who I love. I am the one who I love, for the one who loves is myself. For the we are the two souls in the incarnating moon, the one body for the sea, and the me for the sea, the him, the he, the us, the I.
Imagine what life would be like if
kill me and my faithful friends. For me and my being, for the killing in my life. For this is the love, for the rain and the standing, for the front of your beloved, for the stripping of all attributes. The attribute become the quality for the between me and you. For there's only one me, for the taking away until you remain. For the man regards some deeds for the well done, but some is evil for the Lord does not regard them so. For the everything that would exist in the nature is God's creation. That with everything for this done, for the proper being doing. This is for I am that, for I am which is the highest and which is the lowest, and I am which is all. It is I am. It is me. It is the greatness and the goodness of the Father, for it is me. And the wisdom and the kindness of the Mother, it is I am. It is me, for the infinite love, for the because of the great, for the infinite which is God is all humankind, for the makes of no distinction between the love, the blessed, the soul of Christ, for the lowliest of the souls, better be saved, for the which shall ever highly rejoice, for the God dwell for that soul. More for the highly which shall we do rejoice. So for the dwelling of the God, for the soul is made to be God, for the dwelling place, and the dwelling place of our soul is when we were ever made. We are the creation. For the man regards indeed, for the done some for the understanding of the contemporary romance between these songs. For here and now I was broken, but came back for the rejuvenation of this be the altar. This is the poem giving forward for the trace of the growth of the man, for the carry the meaning of the locking of the hair, but the straight. For the inside that invisible breath of the face of the sun, long to be seen for the into the separate object is a final flowing to the light of the moment of the time for the throne, for the breath of the love residing us in treasure, locked into the heart of the hidden vault, because so first see, wait, over the rose bed of being, interlocked, sword for the window metals and heading,
toward home. What can I do but thank you for the 100 times for the face illumines my shrine. Eyes constantly present and lovely. Learning the meaning and the secret for the revealing. Whether he makes you happy.
Imagine what life would be like if we found out it was real. But horses grow up to be unicorns and centaurs grow from under our legs. Would Hercules himself come down the mountain, yell at us all day? Gold be found in rainbows and stars be left to the sky. Would we have a reason to live other than imagining our lives?
Don't cease to swim in that seas of love for the rise and the wave, descending for the sustained. Sink beneath it, love bears me the wave, no longer from the shore. I'm the one who I love. I'm the one who I love. The one who loves is myself. Two souls in the heart of me, one body for the sea, need for the sea. Don't cease to swim in that seas of love, rise in the wave, descending for the sustained. Sink beneath it, love bears me the wave, no longer from the shore. I'm the one who I love. I'm the one who I love. The one who loves is myself. We are the two souls in the heart of me, one body for the sea, need for the sea. Heal me and my faithful friend. For me and my being for the healing of my life. This is the love of the rain standing in front of you. Love everything, all attributes. That's to become quality between me. There's only one need for the taking away from you remain. Man regards some deeds for the well done, and some is even for the Lord is down. Regard themselves for everything that would exist in nature is God's creation. That includes everything that is done for the proper doing. This is for I am that, for I am which is the highest and which is the lowest, and I am which is all. It is I am. It is me. It is the greatness and the goodness of the Father, for the it is me. And the wisdom and the kindness of the Mother, it is I am. It is me, for the infinite love, for the because of the great, for the infinite which is God is all humankind, for the makes no distinction between the love that bless the soul of Christ, for the lowliest of the souls that are be saved, for the which shall ever highly rejoice, for the God dwell within their soul. More for the highly which shall we rejoice. So for the dwelling of the God, for the soul is meant to be God, for the dwelling place, and the dwelling place of our soul is really ever made. Ye are the creation. For the man regards indeed, for the done some evil, for the who to be the poet, for the understanding of the contemporary and the romance between these songs, for the here and the now. I was broken, but came back for the rejuvenation of this to be the altar. This is the poem before with the trace of the world, for the man, for the carry the member, for the locking of the hair, for the stray. For the inside that invisible breath of the face, the sun, long to be seen, for the until the separate object was finally flung into the light for the moment of the time first drawn, for the breath of the love reside in us and treasure, locked into the heart for the hidden vault, for because the first seed broke over the rose bed of being, interlocked, soared for the window metals and heading toward home. What can I do but thank you for the 100 times for the face of women's mind, shrine, eyes, constantly present and lovely. Learning the meaning and the secret for the revealing. Whether he makes you happy or not, whether it makes you sad or hope for hope and open losing, you have to suffer mystery and the spirit for the patient, for the divine grace and coming from him, hastening with the pain, sent for the God for the certain obtain, strength for the truth, and faith in the marvelous and news and the sent to be patient with the great joy. Must be able to receive the grace when he's divine in the lashes. Him always with the serenity whenever happens and cling to him. Alright. So it's not living God, it's not that for you to be alive, for the spring with the origin, the colors is colorless, and understand what I said, that the giving of the talk with the colors and unite yourself to existence. Thousands in the world bleed out of you. Your existence in flames of itself going on for the birthing of different forms. Of course, none of those forms will last, but the happy is the one who knows this mystery.
Imagine what life would be like if we found out it was real. Would horses grow up to be unicorns and centaurs grow from under our legs? Would Hercules himself come down the mountain, yell at us all day? Would gold be found in rainbows and stars be left to the sky? Would we have a reason to live other than imagining our lives?
All for the breaking up to begin, I build. All for the hope to be mine and the mind alone. For the heart, for the eclipse in the dark, and the wild destruction of the night. Bird for the life of the bird, for the glowing, for the glowing of the flames. And do not enter my heart once again. You are calling me to climb up and fly into that blue. For the how can I? My heart is the prison with the estranglement of the burnt. For the tiny room for the debirth, the light supreme. I pray, I gloom. This is the arising of the awake. This is the offering of my dream through the breath of my life in the light. Heart for the mind, the consciousness of transcending the universe and the life beyond. Formula the meditation, the transcendental for the divinity and humanity and liberator for the Shiva. Ignorance, the sleep, that fire, find this away, ever the same again for the truth. Rediscover for the same again, forgotten for the self-remembered. Same again for the gold regained, same again. This is the last word. This is the last word you will hear for the hope. This still exists on the earth for the dancing in your heart always. In the night, sorrow with the days of joys. Filled with the torture of the happiness is more painful than the torture of the sorrow. For when I am the joy and I forget you, I hurt your heart, never the same. This is the life for the only supreme. Supreme for the prayer, for the beloved, for the within the heart where you can find the eternally shall be. Destruction, dance, destroy, shackles of the finite. May the life of the supreme inundate me for the heart, my will. Have love, the infinite for the heart, for the gloom is crying for the blooming life, for the infinite, but give me eternal hunger and aspirations to cry. Tiniest drop for the loose of the reasons, for the you can heart behind my balance as the ocean with the fire, the air, the life of the spirit, and I behold beauty, gold, light, like the spring. This will be the revealing in the soul for fulfill, revelations full of honest, sweet. No more memory, heart, what shall the sob, the grief, for the bright days and nights to solve in the God's light. Above that toil for the life of my soul, for the birth, for the fire, for the winging. All the hope to be for mine alone, where I am, for not the whither for I should go, for the amnesia for the myself of the beast before I sell it. All for the breaking up of it again I build. All for the hope to be mine and the mind alone, for the heart, for the eclipse of the dark, for the wild destruction of the night. Bird for the life of the bird, for the glowing, for the glowing of the flames. And do not enter my heart once again. You are calling me to climb up and fly into that blue. For the how can I? My heart is the prison with the estranglement of the burnt, for the tiny room for the debirth, the light supreme. I pray, God you. This is the arising of the awake. This is the offering of my dream through the breath of my life in the light. Heart for the mind, the consciousness of transcending the universe and the life beyond. Formula the meditation, the transcendental for the divinity and humanity and liberator for the Shiva. Ignorance, the sleep, that fire, find this away, ever the same again for the truth. Rediscover for the same again, forgotten for the self-remembered. Same again for the gold regained, same again. This is the last word. This is the last word you can hear for the hope. This still exists on the earth for the dancing in your heart always. In the night, sorrow with the days of joys. Filled with the torture of the happiness is more painful than the torture of the sorrow. For when I am the joy and I forget you, I hurt your heart, never the same. This is the life for the only supreme. Supreme for the prayer, for the beloved, for the within the heart where you can find the eternally shall be. Destruction, dance, destroy, shackles of the finite. May the life of the supreme inundate me for the heart, my will. Have love, the infinite for the heart, for the gloom is crying, for the blooming light, for the infinite beginning, eternal hunger and aspirations to cry. Tiniest drop for the loose of the reasons, for the you can heart behind my balance as the ocean with the fire, the air, the life of the spirit, and I behold beauty, gold, light, like the spring. This will be the revealing in the soul for full revelations full of honest, sweet. No more memory, heart, what shall the sob, the grief for the bright days and nights dissolve in the God's light. Above that toil for the life of my soul, for the birth, for the fire, for the winging, another infinite. No one, secret play, pass beyond the sea for the ignorance and dream in tune with him. Sport for the singing and the only golden eye supreme for the drunk deep of immortality with the root from the barrels of steaming the fast. My form, my known, my realization for the supreme and I are one. We are outlast, at last. My life, my age, my name, my life began with the duties of the pride, with the beauties of the light, reality, so for the divinity, the height. My words, my Father, our supreme, two are one for the one, by each other one, nothing remains undone. This is for the revealing and the fulfilling of the goal. No more heart, no more sound to grieve through. This is only the singing, because you've seen depths in my heart, for I'm yours for the identification. Conscious man pervading, I shall listen. I night in the tears and I cried. You at the dawn with the light and I smiled.
Breeze drifts through the night.
It was the imagination, the life, the duration. For the imagination is false, for the blinding eyes and shit. And I cry for not welcome to life and the purity, ugliness and with the power of victory. No smiling for the rejoicing, imagination for the death of the calling could not respond. That's soul and I am for the death that I have no more and ever. I should never walk a wrong path. Imagination, imagination, message of surrendering. Imagination, today you have given me the message for the surrendering I offer to you. You, my very flower heart, for the dark nights, for the tears, for the unknown, the prison cell of illusion, for the house of the finite. This is the longer shall I abide, for you are mine, for I have known this. You are that world, my vital song of heartless city, my mind for the forest of night. This is the youth of the world, the river of the tears. I came, the absolute realm for the bliss, for the bear, for the ultimate, the both, and nowhere the known, for the immense and that joy I last offense and one alone, for the crossing of the secret ways, for the becoming the goal, for the truth immutable, for the revealing. God so, spirit aware, for the heights, for the I am muted, for the core and the song, for the better, for nothing, the time and decent, the cosmic play is done.
These mysteries become us. These dreams fill our minds.
That spring makes red and white flowers appear in those trees. But the spring that is the origin of colors is colorless, and understand what I've said. That spring makes red and white flowers appear in those trees. But the spring that is the origin of colors is colorless, and understand what I've said. For the giving up all talk with the ruin, original with the color, unite yourself to it. And I hail it for the evidence for the thousands the world sleep out of you. Pure existence, flames of itself that goes on beyond the birth in different forms. And of course, none of these forms will laugh. For this is the knowns of the mystery. Happiest of those who get the life of the knows who this is. For they leaving in the house for another far more radiant. You cannot understand the mystery, though the reason, the way to knowledge with the winds and those of suffering and torment. But I do not feel the pain. You do not look for the healing. That soul does not live for the God, for that is not alive. She seems like a soul, but this not deserving of the name. She has not been made alive for the beloved. That soul is the given of life for the four elements, like a lamp that burns through the night. That light is from the oil and the wicked, and it's not eternal. While the oil exists, for the lamp burns, then goes out. That one made alive by God will never die. He lives through the God and through the gold of the bread. For the gold is light, for the eternal source of lights, and the light is causes for the hiss, the fury, radiance, and the light gold. God, value from the pure, perfect essence, and we exist inside of the land for the more radiant. For you cannot understand the mystery, for though the reason for the weight of knowledge and the wind suffering in the torment. Learn that meaning of the secret. The who is perfect in the path of the faith, and never be deceived. For the always had a life for this, the brilliance and the remain siding of the stone wood for the straw. Mountain he would tell sometimes in nothing, but the God would not deceive the good in all things. He saw the face of the God for the timeless leaf. The world is never far from him. It could perfume the stray for the rose garden. Who is deprived of the sense of smell, for they cannot distinguish the fragrance. Just as the stream for the better is in consciousness, the water for the flowing through it. It revealing for the more for the least and things, and two worlds and could be disappear. It could be his enemy for the one light for the fire inside that soul and body. You can find that inspirations for the man's regards of some deeds as well as done. For the evil, for those who cannot regard themselves, for the everything which exists inside the nature is God. That for everything in which it has a property. I am that. She is too. I remained strong, came back in the 24 hours like it was coming from a tomb. This is the rising and the ascending, for this is not the assholes for the seers. This is for the understanding of the doing and the contemporary for this, and you can find and listen. Listen to the now for this, the reaching out, but you cannot touch it. It's invisible, inaudible for the intangible, elusive. The one, the only, the God, the she, for the meaning, for the only winner you're looking to, according to the unique medium, for the offering of the glimpse of the higher world. Consciousness beyond the order for the mundane. This is the prolific for the equality, prolific for the composing of the spiritual, composing almost existence art for this further goal for the offering of the you can be peaceful and meditative for the round the world for you can feel the universal language of what we share. This is the relating of the spreading for the message, and you can find the internal friendship through the harmony. This is the poetry. This is the flowers to flames. This is the nothing but the eternity, and this is the barren events, rich in pretentiousness in the early life of the obscurity for the real name. Hold it down unto themselves, and I exist with the rapping and no soul. I race, no mentor with the worthy, with the caliber for the have I, and all along for the between the failure for the frustration. I am read a thread between nothingness and eternity. I am God in the world, on the body for the home, for the river of the tears, and the vital for the strong, for the heartless of the city in my mind. Forest with the running bone at night for the home, my heart. You are the love of the word, love. I sing, I smile. I sing because you sing. I smile because you do. Because you play for the flute, for that I have become the flute. You play with the depths of the heart, you are mine, I am yours. So this is the soul identification in one form for you. The mother of Bathala, the eternal, the conscious moon, the conscious sun, all pervading. It's farewell time. The play of the heart would now begin for the banner for the divine love. Fly towards that boundless sky for the sun and moon, for the deathless of consciousness and the infinity, for the secret wealth for the worlds. Low of every feet for the heaven's blessing of the message. Flood for the liberation and the body for the divine nectar. This would be united for the heart for the world. I came. This is the place where I'm through the beaties flame for the world, for the offering of the game for the world, so the lustrous flood for the I came from my existence. I came. But I fill my lens with the balance of grace, within my love for the truth and the life, and shines that white. Secrets of the heights of the God for the soul, for the not climbing to dull over the sober pain, for the death in my sight, for the immortal days and nights can shake my calm. 8, light for the bust sustain my secret soul. Dabs for the grief of the vanishing of before my depths. Deeps, my eyes and light for the perceiving of the cherishing go through the world for the I am above and the helpless woes. Dwell in the ocean with the supreme release. My mind for the core for the ones and unmeasured thoughts. Star vast, walking the hugs in my spirits in the peace for the eternal days of found in the speeding time. Play upon the flute for the rhapsody for the impossible deeds of the more impossible seem. Birth chains and now shine. Immortality for the singing of a smile. Never the same again for the bird of light. One thought, one tune, one resonance for the calling for who I am and honor me. And this is not what I am for the whither when I shall go for the dark amnesia. Myself and myself for the breaking again, and I build all of them.
I am a universal soldier.
Don't cease to swim in that seas of love for the rise and the wave. Descending for the sustaining, sink beneath it. Love bears me away from no longer for the any shore. I'm the one who I love. I'm the one who I love, the one who loves is myself. The we are the two souls in the incarnated mood, the one body for the sea. And the need for the sea, to him, and he to us. Feel me and my faithful friends. For me and my being, for the killing of my life. For this is the love, for the reign and the standing, for the front of your beloved, for the stripping of all attributes, for the attribute become the quality for the between me and you. For there's only one me, for the taking away until you remain. For the man regards some deeds for the well done, with some is even for the Lord does not regard himself for everything that would exist in the nature of God's creation. That is with everything which is done for the profit of being doing. This is for I am that, for I am which is the highest and which is the lowest, and I am which is all. It is I am. It is me. It is the greatness and the goodness of the Father, for the it is me. And the wisdom and the kindness of the Mother, it is I am. It is me, for the infinite love, for the because of the great, for the infinite which is God is all humankind, for the makes no distinction between the love, the blessed, the soul of Christ, for the glorious, for the souls, for the faith of the which forever highly rejoice, for the God dwell with your soul. More for the highly which still be your rejoice. So for the dwelling in the God, for the soul is made to God, for the dwelling place and the dwelling place of our souls will ever be. We are the creation. For the man regards some deeds, for the done some evil, for the who to be the poet for the understanding of the contemporary and romance between these songs. For the here and now, I was broken, but came back for the rejuvenation of this be the altar. This is the poem before with the trace of the world for the man to carry the memory of the locking of the hair for the stray. For the inside that invisible breath of the face of the sun, long to be seen for the into the separate object was finally flung into the light for the moment of the time first drawn for the breath of the love residing left in the treasure, locked into the heart of the hidden vault because first see broke over the rose bed of B inner locked soar through the window metals and heading toward home. What can I do but thank you for the 100 times for the face illumines mine, trying eyes constantly present and lovely. Learning the meaning and the secret for the revealing. Whether he makes you happy or not, whether it makes you sad or hope for hope and open losing you have the suffering, the streaming your spirit for the patience, for the divine grace and coming from hand, patiently detained, sent for the God for the certain arcane, strength for the truth and the faith in the marvelous and news and the sense of the be patient and win the great joy. Must be able to receive the grace when he's a divine angel lashes. Him and always with the serenity whenever happens and cling to him. Heart, soul, it's not live and God is God, it's not that for you to be alive, for the spring with the origin, the colors and colorless and understand what I said that the giving of the talk with the colors and unite yourself to existence. Thousands of the world leap out of you. Your existence is flames of itself, going on for the birth in your different forms. Of course, none of us formed to last, but the happiest the one who knows this mystery.
Swimming at seas of love for the rise and the wave. Singing for the sustains me, sink beneath it. Love bears me away from no longer for the enemy shore. I'm the one who I love. I'm the one who I love, the one who loves is myself. The weird, the two souls in the incarnated moving one body for the sea. And me for the sea, to him, and he to us. Kill me and my faithful friends. For me and my being, for the killing of my life. For this is the love, for the brain and the standing, for the fraternity of the love, for the stripping of all attributes. Actually become the quality for the between me and you. For there's only one me, for the taking away from so you remain. For the man regards him deeds for the well done, the summits evil for the Lord is that. Regards himself for everything that would exist in the nature of God's creation. That if with everything which is done for the profit of being, doing. This is for I am that, for I am which is the highest and which is the lowest, and I am which is all. It is I am. It is me. It is the greatest and the goodness of the Father, for it is me. The wisdom and the kindness of the Mother, it is I am. It is me, for the infinite love, for the presence of the grace of the infinite, which is God is all humankind. It makes no distinction between the love and bless the soul of Christ, for the glorious of the souls, but as we say, for the wish ever highly rejoice, for God's well for our soul. More for the highly rich soul to rejoice. So for the dwelling of the God, for the soul is made to be God, for the dwelling place, and the dwelling place of our soul is being well prepared. Yeah, the creation. For the man regards indeed, for the done, the dance and evil, for the who to be the poet, for the understanding of the contemporary and romance between these songs. From here and now, I was broken, but came back to the rejuvenation of this to be the altar. This is the poem before with the trace of the world, for the man to carry the memory for the locking of the hair for the stray. For the inside that invisible breath of the face of the sun, long to be seen for the into the separate object was finally flung into the light for the moment of the time first drawn for the breath of the love residing in us and treasure, locked into the heart for the hidden vault for because first see broke over the rose bed of being inner locked sword for the window metals and heading toward home. What can I do but thank you for the 100 times for the face illumines mine, trying eyes constantly present and lovely. Learning the meaning and the secret of the revealing. Whether he makes you happy or not, whether it makes you sad or hope and open losing you have the suffering, stimulating your spirit for the patient, for the divine grace and coming from hand, patiently the pain, sent for the God for the certain arcane, strength for the truth and the faith in the marvelous and news and the sense to be patient and win the great joy. Must be able to receive the grace when he's divine and the last. Him and always with the serenity whenever happens and cling to him. Heart, soul, it's not live and God is not that for you to be alive, for the spirit with the origin, the colors is colorless and understand what I said, the getting of the talk with the colors and unite yourself to existence. Thousands of the world leap out of you. Your existence is flames of itself going on for the birth in the different forms. Of course, none of us forms to last, but the happiest the one who knows his mystery.
That spring makes red and white flowers appear in those trees. But the spring that is the origin, the colors is colorless. And understand what I've said for the giving up all talk for the ruin. Original with the color, unite yourself to it. And I heavy for the existence for the thousands of worlds deep out of you. Pure existence of flames of itself as it goes on beyond the birth and get different forms. And of course, none of these forms will laugh, but this is the known to the mystery. Happiest of those who give the life to know who this is, but they leave me in the house for another far more radiant. You cannot understand the mystery, though the reason, the way the knowledge with the winds and dose of suffering and torment. But I do not feel the pain. You do not look for the healing. That soul does not live for the God, but it is not alive. She seems like the soul, but this is not the servant of the name. She has not been made alive for the beloved. That soul is the given of life for the four elements, like a lamp that burns through the night. That light is from the oil and the wicked, and it's not eternal. While the oil exists, for the lamp burns, then goes out. That one made alive by God will never die. He lives through the God and through the gold of the bread. For the gold is light, for the eternal source of life, and the light is causes for the his, the spirit, radiance and the light gold. God, value from the pure, perfect essence, and we exist inside of the land for the more radiant. For you cannot understand the mystery, for though the reason for the way the knowledge and the wind suffering in the torment. Learn that meaning of the secret. The who is perfect in the path of the faith will never be deceived, for the always had a life for this, the brilliance and the remain silent of the stone wood for the straw. Nothing he would sometimes in nothing, but the God would not receive the good in all things. He saw the face of the God for the time to sleep. The world is never far from him. It can perfume the straight for the rose garden. Who is deprived for the sense of smell, but cannot distinguish the fragrance. Just as the stream for the better is in consciousness, the water for the flowing through it. It revealing to the more for the beast and things in two worlds and could be disappear. It could be his enemy for the one light for the fire inside that soul and body. You can find that inspiration for the man's regards to some deeds as well as done. For the evil, for the cannot regard himself, for the everything which exists inside the nature is God. That's for everything of which he has the property. I am that. She is too. I remained strong, came back, and in 24 hours like it was coming from a tomb. This is the rising and the ascending, for this is not the assholes of the seers. This is for the understanding of the doing and the contemporary, for this you can find and listen. Listen to the now, for this is the reaching out, but you cannot touch it. It's invisible, inaudible, for the intangible, elusive. The one, the omni, the God, the she, for the meaning, for the only winner, you're looking to according to the unique medium, for the offering of the glimpse of the higher world. Consciousness beyond the order for the mundane. This is the prolific for the equality, prolific for the composing, the spiritual, composing almost assistance art, for this is for the goal, for the offering of the you can be peaceful and meditative, for the round the world, for you can feel the universal language of what you share. This is the relating of the fact, spreading for the message, and you can find the internal frequency through the harmony. This is the poetry. This is the flowers of flame. This is the nothing but the eternity, and this is the barren events, rich and pretentiousness in the early life of the obscurity for the real name. Holy down unto themselves, and lie exists for the rapping and no soul. My race. No mentor with the worthy with the caliber for the have I and all alone for the between the failure for the frustration. I am red a thread between nothingness and eternity. I am God and the world on the body for the home for the river of the tears and the vital for the strong for the heartless of the city in my mind. Forest with the running bone that night for the home my heart. You are the love of the word love. I sing, I smile. I sing because you sing. I smile because you do. Because you play with the flute, for that I have become the flute. You play with the depths of the heart, and you are mine, and I am yours. So this is the soul identification in one form for the you, the mother of the father, the eternal, and the conscious moon, and the conscious sun, and all pervading. It's farewell time. The play of the heart would now begin for the banner for the divine love. Fly towards that boundless sky for the sun and moon, for the deathless of consciousness and the infinity, for the secret wealth of the worlds. Lower very feet for the heavens, blessing the message. Flood for the liberation and the ability for the divine nectar.